Hello, hello. Welcome to our call today. And welcome, Amy.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Today we're talking about developing products. This is something people can be afraid of to do when they have an idea for something and they want to create something that's really cool, but they're nervous about what to do to get started. And so I want to remind you, if you're going to be watching live or replay, do that hashtag live or replay, and along with where you live, because I really want to know like where you guys are watching from. So I'm in Dahlonega, the North Georgia mountains. What about you, Amy?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay, cool. And so is your weather good there right now?
It is. I think it's around 70 degrees or so.
Yeah, we're in the 60s right now, so it feels pretty good, but it's nice and sunny. So a lot better than last week when we had the tropical storm. Okay, so
Definitely.
a little about Amy. She's an entrepreneur with three brands in the marketplace and more on the way. A brand builder, inventor, and patent holder. So she's going to be talking about how she develops products and how she gets them going and how you can too. So let me ask, how do you know? How would a person know if their idea is worth developing?
Well, the first thing before you even I know I've always been the kind of person who has carried around a book of ideas. Like I always claim that Pinterest was my idea first. But not everybody wants to be in business. Not everyone wants to go down the journey of developing a product and bringing it to market and setting up the company and the business that has to go with it. I'm on my state inventors board, and we talk to inventors all the time that have ideas, and they aren't really sure what to do with their idea. They have a good idea, but they don't know, oh, I don't know if I want to go into business, or I don't know, what I want to do with that. So the first thing to decide is, do you really want to do anything with your ideas? Some people just like coming up with cool ideas. Some people like the creativity. Some people like prototyping, building something on their own. And, sometimes you're happy with that and you don't need the whole company around it. You don't need to launch it. You don't need to do all those things. And then other people, they want to license their idea to a company that's going to do something with it, right? Because they don't just want their idea to go to waste. So the first thing before you kind of move forward with your idea is really think about, like, hey, do I really want to do anything with this? Am I okay with someone else actually being successful with this idea?
Mhm.
Right? For me, that's what kept me going when I invented a litter box cleaner, and that's what kept me going, is that I had many other ideas in my books, right? In my little bound notebook of ideas, I had lots of ideas, but you know, it's fine if somebody else kind of went forward with that idea. It was just something that went through my head. But with my litter box cleaner, it was a problem that continued to exist, that continued to bother me. And there was nothing on the market. And this, I have 3 cats, so I didn't really like cleaning the litter box, and I wanted to solve that problem. So for me, it was about, okay, this is the idea that if someone else came to market with this, I'd be mad because I worked on this for a long, long time, and I would regret not moving forward with it. So that's the first thing is, all of us in e-commerce, whatever, we have to pick a business model. And you might become a reseller because you just need quick money. You just want to work from home. Or maybe you're going to get into the wholesale, Amazon wholesale business model, because that, is, again, it's a way for you to kind of own your job and work from home and spend more time with your kids. Well, if you're going to develop a product, chances are you're going to start a brand, and you're not going to have that money back for a little while. Like, you're going to put a lot of money and time and effort into it, but the end game is a lot more valuable, right? You're going to be able to sell that. You're going to be able to, really build something really, really cool. So before we even get into ideas, that's what we have to decide first, is like, what's the end game here? You always want to start with the end in mind. And then, you know, in terms of how do you know if your idea is worth developing? Well, number one, you really should find out, how different is it? You know, is it just, you know, are you just differentiating? And I always use the water bottle as an example because it's always right here on my desk. But if you're just differentiating this slightly, you know, if I'm just making it a different color or something like that, you know, you're not really inventing anything. You're just kind of differentiating. And you want to make sure whatever you're differentiating is something that the customer actually cares about. Right? That's the first question, is what I'm doing different to this product? Is it something that the customer cares about or sees value in?
Yeah.
Right? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. I've seen so many people differentiate a product and they'll be like, well, Amy, mine's yellow. Nobody else has a yellow one. And it's like, well, the customer doesn't care if their water bottle is yellow. You just brought a product to market and you're like, but mine's going to stand out on the page. Okay, but the customer isn't looking for a yellow water bottle. You know, the customer's just looking for a water bottle, maybe with a straw.
A problem to be solved.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure that you're actually doing something that matters to the customer. That's number one. Number two, you want to make sure that the reasonable alternatives on the marketplace are not going to overcome your offer. So I always give the example of the guy who went on Shark Tank, and he came out with this camera cover for laptops, right? And he said, you know, cybersecurity is a problem. People can hack your camera, and I've come up with the solution, right? Yeah, there you go. She's got it. She's got it. So, you know, he said, look, you know, you can cover. Okay, cool. And the shark said, well, I just use a piece of tape. So I'm not going to invest in your idea or help you with this company, because if a customer can just use a piece of tape, well, then it's not really a problem that you're solving, is it? So you might be solving a problem. Hey, we're blocking the camera. But if that, but if that problem can be solved much easier, then, you know, it's like making a pot holder for a pot that is like a shape for a large bowl or something, like those, you know, soup koozies, right? Well, I can just use a pot holder. You know, it's not that important to me to buy that now. So the thing is, are those products still successful? Yes, they can still be successful, but the thing that you have to make sure is that you can have an equal value proposition, right? So if I'm offering the water bottle with a handle on it for the same price as the water bottle without a handle, which one are you going to pick?
Yes.
Probably the one with the handle, right? So that's the thing is, you know, and then the other thing is reusable straws, right? People went on Shark Tank with these reusable straws, and reusable straws are big now. A lot of people are selling them. And, you know, the sharks didn't invest because they said, well, you can't compete. You're charging $16 for a straw that a restaurateur can buy for 2 cents. Yeah. And so it's really hard. Like you have to have, it has to have enough value and be enough of a pain point where you can charge more for it. So a lot of times what inventors do, or people who are developing products do, is they'll overdevelop the product, right? They'll say, I'm going to make this computer mouse and I'm going to do a design on it. And I'm going to, you know, it's going to have lasers and it's going to be awesome. And now you've made a $400 computer mouse that lights up. And it's like, okay, guys, you know, we haven't really done anything well because people aren't going to be willing to pay $400 for a computer mouse. You know, the reasonable alternative is better. So you don't want to overdevelop a product, and you never want to hope you can sell a product for a certain amount of money. That's the other thing. Even people that don't develop products, they just bring regular products to market. They'll make maybe one little differentiation, and they'll say, Amy, well, I'm really hoping I can sell it for $60, you know? And I'm like, well, hope? Like, why? Well, I paid way too much for it from the supplier. Okay, well, we don't develop products if we pay too much for them from the supplier and we can't offer them at a really competitive price. We got to make money, right? We have to be able to make it worth our effort in developing the product and bring something of value. So those are the three things that you want to look at. You want to look at your idea and go, okay, yes, it's solving a problem. It's different. It's something that customers actually care about, right? And then, yes, it's competitive and I can offer it for a really awesome price compared to other things on the market. And people are going to choose this because it's actually, so it's something that they care about. So those are the things that you should consider.
Yes, and also like what you were saying, like a person has to also think about, are they willing to put that much time, energy, effort, money right up front before they start seeing anything come back from it? Because it's not like your product was profitable day one. It took a while. I'm curious as to how long it took before you just started seeing profit.
Well,
It's got to be some time.
yeah, it was. I had to make molds for it
Yeah.
because it was made out of plastic and it was quite large. So I had to make molds. Those molds were $60,000. Yeah, so it was a little bit of an investment going in. And of course, I was profitable, I think 1 year into the project. It was like a little bit before 1 year because I was selling other products as well. It wasn't just my unique product. I was selling differentiated products. I had a whole line of products for my brands. But we were profitable after 1 year. Many retail businesses, though, are not profitable until a few years because they have very low margin and it's a scale game, right? The way that I teach this is, hey, we're going to have amazing margins. We're going to make sure that we have really great margins, that we're developing smart, that we're putting out minimum viable products first and then building after customers kind of give us some really great feedback. And we're making sure that we are set up for success from the very beginning. I know a lot of the Amazon courses out there teach you to have a 30% profit margin. And it's really, really narrow with today's advertising budgets. So, I try to really do much, much better than that and make sure that even after advertising, I think we just ran our numbers for last month, and even after advertising on Google and Amazon and our website and everything else, we still were at a 38% profit margin. Wow. And that's usually people are there before advertising and we're there after advertising. So
that's very good.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to really, scale your business quickly and efficiently, and it makes it look really, really attractive to a potential buyer one day.
Yes. So one thing that you said too is you said something about a state board of idea board. I didn't know there was such a thing.
So every state has different inventors groups.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and then, they're all on the USPTO. If you go on the USPTO and you search for inventors groups, you'll see every state has one. So I was asked to speak at my state's Christmas party last year. And afterwards, they asked me to be a board member. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, so now I get to help lots of inventors bring cool things to market. And of course, in my work in Amazing at Home, which is my e-commerce consulting firm, I get to do the same. So it's really cool to be part of so many neat products on the market. I can literally scroll through Amazon and in every category, every page, for the first couple pages, I see just hundreds of brands that I've been a part of. And it's a really cool, fulfilling thing that I get to do.
I'm sure. That's pretty amazing. It really is. You picked a wonderful name for your business because that is all amazing.
It's funny. Amazing at Home was kind of born out of nothing. I own this domain name, amazingathome.com, and I was going to create a vlog, a YouTube vlog featuring people doing cool things in their home. And when people started asking to consult with me, I didn't have a way to charge them for it. I hadn't planned on consulting. And so I just used that domain name, amazingathome.com, and built a website like over a weekend. And then, you know, it's grown into what it is today. And yeah, never thought about it, but it really does fit.
It does.
Because
it really does.
we run all these companies out of our homes, and
Yeah.
you know, in home also for e-commerce entrepreneurs can be anywhere. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It fits perfect.
Thanks.
So, so a person that's wanting to get started, how do they go about developing the product after they have their first idea?
So after you've kind of validated your idea and you're like, okay, I know that people want to buy this, you know, you can create a mock-up, you can ask about it and on forums, stuff like that. There's lots of ways to get validation. You can look at old, you know, Nielsen product data, Google surveys, you can get lots of feedback. But once you know, like, okay, you know what, I've looked at the competition, I've looked at other products, I know I can be competitive, I know I can offer this really great product. Now I have to make sure that I can develop it at that price, right? But before you start developing it, the first step is prototyping. You want to make sure that your idea actually works, right? So you don't just want to like go find a manufacturer and be like, okay, I'm gonna put lights on this. Where do the lights go? How do the lights work? How tall is your water bottle that you're putting lights in? How do you wash it?
Can it go in the microwave? Yeah.
Can it go in the microwave?
Everything.
Exactly. And you might think, well, Amy, I'm not an electrician. Like, I can't figure out how to put lights on that thing. Okay, but there are things that you can do, right? You can, you can sketch it out. You can take a similar product and, you know, even it's something as simple as taking, like I was developing a sports bag. I'm big into CrossFit, and I was building a bag for weightlifters. And we literally started in our living room with, I wanted like a compartment for shoes in a certain area. I wanted a detachable compartment for taking into the gym with you, you know, that kind of stuff. And I started with just cardboard at home and tape, because I needed to know, like, okay, well, where would that compartment go? And how big does it need to be? And I'm trying my husband's shoes in that compartment. So we literally just built, like, we took some card stock, like really big poster boards, right? And we cut them up and we just taped them together. And, you know, people came over and they were like, what's that thing on your floor? And it's like, don't you worry about that. That's, you know, it's a work in progress. But anyway, but you want to get an idea, right? So our first class after we, you know, in my concept to launch course, the first 10 classes are all about knowing your numbers and choosing your business model and coming up with ideas and then validating those ideas and then making sure you're running the numbers on those ideas of how much, you know, it's going to cost you to develop it. And then you pick a winner, the one that is, you know, the easiest to develop and the has the most potential. And then before we even get into product development, the next step is actually prototyping. And I call it DIY prototyping, because you're starting, before you go to a big expensive product designer, you want to make sure that that thing works, you know? So there's a lot of different things you can use. You can use clay, you can build it out of wood, you know? My first prototype for my litter box cleaner, I literally went to Home Depot. I got some hardware cloth, some wood, some handles, because I knew I wanted it to have handles. I just got like cabinet handles. And I got a waste bin, and I just built this just ugly, it was terrible. I still have it out in my garage, you know? But the thing is, it worked. It worked really, really well. And it gave me the idea of, okay, this is how deep I need this to be. This is how wide I need it to be. Okay, and originally the sides were open on this prototype. And I was like, okay, I have to find a way to close those. That's not going to work, you know? So the whole idea is you want your sketches, you want your idea to be, it's kind of like having a goal, you know, the better you can visualize your goal, the more real it becomes and the more chance of you accomplishing it. Well, it's the same way with a product. You want to make sure that you're actually thinking through that. If you're gonna, put a handle on this water bottle, where does that handle go? How big is it? What size are people's hands? Is it for women? Or is it for men? Is it for kids? What are you doing? And you just really want to think through it, because the last thing, you can find a supplier and you can pay for molds and you can do all of that, but if it's wrong, it's wrong, and it's going to come out wrong, and the customer's going to have a bad experience, and we don't want that, right? We want our idea to be a beautiful thing. And so that's the whole thing. It's just, you start by prototyping, and you make sure that you have it right, and then you take that prototyped idea, that even if it's a rough prototype, then you take that to a product designer. When you work with a product designer, you want to work with somebody who is a certified DFM, so design for manufacturing. Because you can take it to any CAD guy on Fiverr, right? Or girl. But just somebody who knows how to do 3D CAD doesn't know that for manufacturing, it has to be heated up, and the draft has to be this, degree, and all these different things. The texture needs to be this and that. And, my DFM designer, when he started asking me these questions, he's like, yeah, what do you want the draft to be on these slots? And I was like, excuse me?
Right.
What? You're speaking gibberish. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, but then he would explain, well, this, in order for the mold to work properly, we need this to be defined, and that's this angle here. And so then I started looking at similar products. And so the second key when you're working with a designer is to know about manufacturing, to know about your manufacturing process. If I'm going to make this water bottle, what am I going to make it out of? Is it stainless steel? What are other bottles made out of? What are other water bottles made out of? What is this plastic up here? Is this, is this polypropylene? What is polypropylene? Like what do I need to know? If I'm making a straw for my water bottle, what does that have to be made out of? So when I was making a litter box cleaner, my first questions were, what are litter boxes made out of? I guess I should make something that deals with excrement. Like, is that a requirement? Like, do I need certain kinds of material? So the thing is, if you don't know how your product is made, you will be taken advantage of by the manufacturer. Let me repeat myself. Whether you're in private label, wholesale, whatever you're doing, if white labeling products, if you are going on Alibaba and saying, I want that product, and you have no idea how that product is made or its manufacturing process, or you're using a sourcing agent, you will be taken advantage of because you don't know what you're talking about. So take the time, Google it. Go, if you're making a toothbrush, how are toothbrushes made? You're going to learn that they're molded, and then there's a machine that puts all the bristles into it, right? You need to know how that works. What materials are they made out of? Because then you can have intelligent conversations with not only designers, but manufacturers. And that's where you're able to actually negotiate really good pricing. How can you negotiate really good pricing if you don't even know that this water bottle you're trying to source is made out of stainless steel, or it's made out of food grade safe material, or, it's so important. You don't have to be the expert, but you should know how your product is made. You should know about the manufacturing processes so that you can have a conversation and that you can move forward and make the important decisions that's going to allow that product to be quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell just from the things that you're saying, you're definitely talking from experience.
Yeah, I go to China twice a year, and I take entrepreneurs with me, and we walk the Canton Fair, and that is over 60,000 manufacturers. It's the size of 217 football fields if you have to walk it. I have done lots of negotiation sessions. I have seen a lot of different types of things be made, whether it's cut and sew, textiles, plastics, all kinds of cool things. And so, it's such a game changer when you take the time to learn about your product. It's a game changer. It changes everything for you. It really, and one of my products is made in the USA. Do you know how hard it is to get a manufacturer in the USA? You really have to. It's not like factories in the USA are just like, yes, our doors are open, come on in. It's not like China where you can like, hey, can you make this for me? It's not like that at all. It's really, really hard. You have to sell your company to them because you're taking up precious space on their manufacturing floor. And so I had to interview so many manufacturers here in the US and convince them like, hey, yeah, here's my sales projections. Here's my plan for my business. Here's what I'm going to do. And, it was a lot harder than finding a manufacturer in China for sure.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. But so you had to work to get them to be your manufacturer. They did not have to do the work to have you. Yeah. So that's interesting. So something you were talking about, and you said starting with ideas. So that made me think. So a person that's coming to you for help for their idea, do they even have to have an idea before they come to you?
No, my program helps people also come up with ideas and discover their niche. Because the biggest thing that I've discovered working with Amazon sellers and private label sellers is that many of them, they follow this methodology that's being taught across all of the different courses where it's like, okay, let's all look and product research software that's all using the same data, and let's look for low competition, high demand items. And how many, there's 3,000 new sellers on Amazon every single day. So how many of those new sellers do you think are coming up with the same exact product based on those same search filters?
Right.
And then they find this product and they're like, okay, cool. It's awesome. It's a great opportunity. Nobody else has it. I'm going to differentiate it a little bit based on bad reviews. Hey, guess what? Just because someone leaves a bad review on a short, they say, oh, I don't like this short handle on this garlic press, doesn't mean if you make a long handled garlic press that they're going to suddenly buy from you. Right. Nobody's searching for garlic press with a long handle. Like, you need to know why people buy things. You need to know what their pain points are. So that's what I teach. So if you don't have an idea, when you come into my program, I teach you how to figure out what you like. The last thing that I would ever want for anybody, like I'm a cat lady and I get to get up every single day and sell products for cat people. And do you know how happy that makes me?
Right.
Do you know how awesome it is when somebody leaves a 5-star review and they're like, oh my gosh, finally somebody figured it out and you brought this product to market. It's awesome. It's great. It feels good to do something that you actually like. Do you know how many sellers sell things based on products that they have no idea why anyone buys it? And they come to me for launch. They're like, okay, Amy, I got a product. I heard you're a good consultant. I need help launching on Amazon. And I go, okay, great. Well, who's your customer? Because we're going to run some traffic off of Amazon. That's how we rank on Amazon. Who's your customer? Where do they hang out? Are we going to run Pinterest ads? What are we doing? Facebook? How are we looking? And they're like, I was just hoping you could help me just launch on Amazon. Okay, well, why do people buy this product? I know my competitor sells $30,000 a month in revenue.
Yes.
Okay, well, what does their footprint look like off of Amazon? How are they reaching all those customers? I don't know. I just use this tool to see that they're selling $30,000 a month, and I think I can capture some of those sales. Okay, but we scroll down in their listing, there's 70 pages of sponsored product ads that look just like this product. So how are we going to make yours stand out? They always want me to have the magic bullet.
Right.
The magic bullet is connecting with your customer. The magic bullet is knowing that They need that the biker needs the water bottle that is going to fit in their bike holster and is going to keep it cold or whatever. The magic bullet is knowing your customer and connecting with them. Buying is a psychological process. So that's what we focus on. We focus on, okay, what is the niche? What is the store that you would want to go to every day for the rest of your life? And you couldn't wait to connect with your customers over it, because that's the brand you want to build. That's the next Nike. That's the next Coca-Cola, right? What is that for you, right? And then, how do you actually find products for customers in that niche? So first, what's your niche? And people always tell me, they're like, well, Amy, if I could sell fitness products, I would. Or if I could sell kitchen products, I would, but they're so saturated. And it's like, okay, well, hang on a second. Kitchen, let's take kitchen, for example. Think of some new kitchen products that came out in the last 5 years that were just absolutely incredible.
Instant Pot.
Thank you. Before the Instant Pot, there was just a pot that went on the stove, right? And now there's the Instant Pot. And now there's a bunch of, copycat Instant Pots too. Yeah. I have a Kosori and I love it. But the bottom line is there's always, always, always a niche inside of a niche. There's a people that are just waiting to be served. You would think that with the litter box thing, do you know the litter box stuff has not been innovated on since like the 1950s. There's a video of me like on YouTube all over the place talking about how, people used to use slotted spoons, and really that's not that much different than the current litter scoop. It's disgusting. Nobody has innovated on it, right? And so think about even cleaning up after your dog. We're still using poop bags, plastic bags. Really? Like, we have not innovated on that at all. So when we think about all the things in the kitchen that we use, or all the things in fitness that we use, just me talking about developing a sports bag for weightlifters, that's a pain point that I have. That's a niche within a niche, So that's the thing, is you can always find opportunities inside of a niche. It's about understanding how to study your market and how to understand why people buy the products that they buy. In my course, I actually have this example where we start off with a totally saturated product, a dog toy. And we start breaking down, why do people buy dog toys? What's the reason they buy dog toys? And we go down this rabbit hole and we answer all these questions. I provide all these worksheets that have you and I show you all these resources you can use. Most of them are free. And we end up at the end of that rabbit hole, at the end of the product discovery phase, where we started with, hey, I want to bring a dog toy to market. We ended up with actually a mat for the crate that has a heartbeat integrated into it. Because we went down the rabbit hole of why people buy dog toys and what their pain points are. And we learned that it's all about separation anxiety, and those solutions recommended by veterinarians are crate training. And then they feel bad because they don't have any way to entertain their dog while in the crate. And so we ended up with that. And and it's a really cool way to solve a problem when you're actually thinking about, why does somebody buy that? So you could do that literally with any product. You could break down, why do people buy, why does this specific person buy this water bottle, right? Why does the person who works in their office buy this coffee mug? And what about it is important? And, and you start getting into that, and your end result might not be a coffee mug at all. It might be, something completely different, but you're meeting a need and you're solving a problem. And then the other big thing, people always get really nervous about developing products. They think, well, Amy, if I bring, a new, never seen before product to the market, nobody's going to buy it because nobody's searching for that. If, nobody's searching for, a litter box cleaner. True. Nobody was searching for a litter box cleaner, but people search for litter box. And when they see something different on that page, they go, ooh, maybe this is the thing to solve my problem.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yes. So it's a game changer. So, you know, when you think like, oh my God, this is going to be impossible to launch because nobody's searching for it, it's not like that at all. It's organic sales are through the roof. Your opportunities are really great because you can expand, and having intellectual property really is just awesome. But you don't always have to invent something. That's the other thing that scares people about working with me. They're like, Amy, are you going to make me invent some things? I really don't want to do that. Like, I do not want to get into inventing something. So I'm going to tell you a story. On my China trip, we took people to a keyboard factory, a factory where they make computer keyboards, right? Kind of like this, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you know, people, when they, new sellers, when they get into Amazon, they're afraid of electronics, first of all, because they're like, so much liability. It's going to be terrible. It's saturated. I can't compete with those big brands. So we go to this keyboard factory, incredible keyboard factory, Lean Six Sigma factory, amazing processes, everything. And so we get to see the molds popping out all the keys, dropping them on the keyboards, putting it all together, all the testers, lab testing everything, making sure all the keys are working. They had light up ones. It was so cool. And people were like, wow, this is so great. Like, I'm not afraid of electronics anymore. I've got newfound, you know, just appreciation for factories in China and all this whole thing, right? And we get back on the bus and they're like, Amy, you teach us how to come up with unique ideas and how to bring unique products to the market. Why did you take us to a keyboard factory? Keyboards are a little bit saturated, aren't they? And I was like, okay, guys, like, really? We didn't do better than this? You know, we can do better than this. So the bottom line is you can apply a unique design to anything. So if my niche is cat lovers, what happens when I put a really cool design of some tuxedo cats on my keyboard? I'm going to make the tuxedo cat people go crazy. Do you think they're going to be willing to pay a little bit more for my keyboard?
Right.
Than the plain old black one? Do you think they're going to want to put that in their office? Do you think the other cat people are going to look at it and go, oh my God, I need that. Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? And then I was like, okay, but wait, what about sports fanatics? What people in offices, they love their sports. You know, you can get licenses. You can go get a license and you can put a really cool design on that keyboard of your favorite NFL team or, you know, local college team. And do you think that keyboard's going to sell? Do you think it's going to sell for more than the plain old black keyboard on the market?
Absolutely.
And so now you've just brought something totally unique to market. You didn't invent anything. You didn't invent the keyboard. You have a factory that already makes it. All you did was add value. You dug into what those customers want and you brought something cool and unique to the market that didn't require a lot of extra thought, right? So, and they don't always require molds either. If it's a cut and sew product, it doesn't require a mold. So, you know, you can always.
If it's a what kind of product?
A cut and sew product. So what that means is if it's a textile. Okay. So if somebody, like a shirt or a pillowcase or, you know, that doesn't require a mold. It just requires a pattern. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's cheaper than 60,000, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. Mine was a very large product, and I sourced my molds in the US before I started going to China and learning that I could have done it myself. I didn't know anything back then, right? So, and all the product design firms that I went to, they wanted like $30,000 just to turn your drawing into something. So I started, you know, that's another thing. People get so nervous about product development because they're like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive. You know, you go to like Invent Help or something like that, and they just give you a book. And they're like, yeah, you know, we can help you get molds made, but just to take your idea and turn it into this book with market information, it's $30,000. And you're like, what? And so that's why I set out on this journey to like figure this out and share whatever I could. And that's why I'm out here on this platform, like sharing as much as I can. I knew it couldn't be that hard. I knew that there had to be a better way because brands were bringing innovative products to market every single day. And I'm like, you know, not all of them are just taking a drawing and paying $30,000 to have it turned into a book with market information.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my platform. That's my mission. I want to help people understand that this is not impossible. We can totally do this. Now, those same molds in China, now that I know what I know and I have the connections that I have, and, you know, I go there myself. Before, China was so far away to me. Now I know those same molds that I paid $60,000 for when I didn't know anything and I had to pay for multiple middlemen. Now I could have gotten them for about $13,000 to $15,000.
Oh, wow. Huge difference. That's what the knowledge costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The rest of it was your education.
Yep. And I still have I don't have any regrets because I've already paid them off and I have a great product, and, you know, so I don't have any regrets. I feel like everything was a learning step along the way, but.
Yeah. And you've made so many great points because being in e-commerce myself, the things that you're talking about, that is exactly how most people teach that are wanting to get into e-commerce. I've been taught that myself, and you need to follow this certain guideline, and you need to stay just like you were saying, exactly what you were saying. And so I know there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and say, oh, well, that's what I was told too. I was wondering why I was struggling or something. And so you're looking at it from a different approach.
Yeah, most of the people that come through my program have already spent over $30,000 in their training classes. Yeah. And
unfortunately, I can say that as well. I know I have spent thousands and thousands. I don't even want to figure it out. It's probably somewhere around there. That horrible number right there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not that those training courses are bad. They do give you a good overview, but if you're wanting to develop a product, it's not filling in those gaps for you. You know, I even, you know, going to China and going to like big trade shows like the Canton Fair, you know, I see Amazon, I can spot Amazon sellers because they walk into a booth. I'm at the table talking with the boss and going, hey, you know, let's talk about this manufacturing process. Let's talk about this product. Let's break down how I can differentiate it, what's going on there. And they walk into a booth and they go, oh yeah, how much is this? It's not shopping, people. It's not shopping. And I've seen these manufacturers, I've seen them give these people a price that's 6 times what they just gave me sitting at the table with them on that same product.
Yes.
And it's just because they don't
have the knowledge and the experience, and they know that that person does not. And that's what that knowledge and experience is saving you.
Yeah.
And it's costing them. Yeah.
Literally tens of thousands. I mean, I do negotiation sessions with my clients, like we'll sit negotiation sessions with their suppliers, and it literally just one session for one order, we save them. I mean, depending on the size of the order, you know, like the last one, their price on Alibaba was $5 a unit, and we left the negotiation session at $1.27. So at 1,000 units, I mean, that's over $4,000 for one order. And then, you know, when we start getting into bigger orders, we've saved people tens of thousands of dollars on one order. Yeah. It's a huge, and imagine what you can do with that in your business, and imagine what you can do with that in your profit margin. You know, it's a game changer. So you definitely my best advice to you is learn your manufacturing process, learn the language, take it very seriously, and don't be afraid to differentiate. Don't be afraid to be the next cool brand with something new on the market. Don't be afraid. You can totally do it.
So, well, okay. So now a person's got their idea. They've taken it. They've gotten. Gone through these steps. How does a person protect that so that they do not worry about, because copycatters are everywhere. So how do they protect that idea and keep it unique?
Well, the biggest thing is, of course, you know, people always get scared of patents. They're like, oh, they're so expensive, and they can be, but remember that every single thing that you do in your business is negotiable. So what I did when I was, you know, I was on a budget, obviously. And so I went out on Up Counsel. upcounsel.com, and I interviewed a couple of different lawyers, and I found somebody that was really experienced and was just looking for that kind of work, and was able to do everything for me for less than $3,000. And so I was able to file my utility patent and get it all done. And then, so the biggest thing is, don't be afraid. You hear all of these people say, oh, don't patent. Patents, just copycat. Don't patent. Don't do any of that, because that's going to cost you $100,000 and you're not going to make any money. And the bottom line is, it's just not true. It's just not true. This morning in my mastermind group, we had Yael Kabili come in and talk to us about selling our business. And she was explaining that, that intellectual property is what a buyer looks for to increase your multiplier, because then you have some kind of protection, right? So I get that a patent is only as good as your ability to defend it, right? But you also can protect your supply chain. So you should be doing your patents. You should be doing a trademark on your brand. You got to have a trademark. Bottom line, you need to trademark your brand. That's the base level of intellectual property. Then you have design patents, utility patents, that kind of stuff. Again, you can do it for less than, $100,000. Mine, everything, including the worldwide patent filing, was less than $3,000. So, and it took time to kind of draft all that up. But now there's even patent agents. There's patent agents, and the difference between a patent agent and a patent lawyer is that they've gone through the same training. However, the patent agent they haven't taken the bar exam, right? So they can't defend you in a court of law, but they can absolutely draw you up an incredible patent. And so there's so many services like that where you can get your stuff protected for a very affordable price. So, don't let the patent side scare you, but you need to take care of that. That needs to be part of your business plan. It's worth protecting. It's your idea, right? And then the other thing people forget is trademarking. You need to trademark wherever you export from and wherever you're importing to. So if I'm selling in the US, but I'm exporting from China, I need to trademark in China and the US. Why? Because my competitors can file my trademark in China and they can prevent my branded products from leaving China. And I now have to get my competitors' permission to get my products out of China. That doesn't sound like fun, does it?
No.
I would much rather spend $300 and file my trademark in China and be done with it, right? So the bottom line is, you should be trademarking in both countries. And then if I'm selling in another country as well, a lot of sellers will take shortcuts and they'll do things like, oh, I'm going to trademark in the UK because it's super fast to trademark there, and then I'm going to sell in the US. I've heard so many horror stories about, somebody owning a similar trademark in the US, and that person who trademarked in the UK, who only sells in the US, who just tried to take the shortcut for Amazon brand registry, now they're getting sued for their profits, because could be potential confusion between their brand or that US brand that has a similar trademark. Wow. So you have to be so careful. Don't take shortcuts when it comes to your intellectual property. That doesn't mean you can't negotiate great prices to get it done, but don't take shortcuts. Get it done, protect yourself. And then third, make sure you're following the laws of whatever country you are sourcing from. So in China, I have a Chinese attorney. That Chinese attorney draws up all of my contracts with my factories. So what I do is, if I have a new product, so let's say I'm adding lights to this water bottle. I don't know why yet. That's my first mistake, right? I need to know why. I need to know that the customer wants lights on their water bottle. But anyway, let's say that they do, and I'm going to source this product, right? Well, I am not going to go and tell the first supplier that I see, hey, I want to put lights on this. Can you put lights on this? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go, okay, hey, I want to talk about this product. How can we differentiate it? I want to talk about this stainless steel cup. What are the materials that we can use? I want to, and then I'm going to source what's called a decoy. So I'm going to come up with a similar electronic element, right? Maybe I'm going to say, oh, I want it to light up. I want to, I want to put a lighted design here. Yeah. I want it to play music. That's a great thing. I want to put a speaker in it, right? Who would want to watch that, right? The supplier doesn't care, they're just going to talk to you about, oh yeah, I think we could put a speaker in it. Seems weird. Not sure why you want to do that, but okay. So when you're having that initial discussion, it's not like you're lying to them and drawing up a purchase order with that. You're just saying, like, could you put a speaker in it? Could you put a heater in it? You're just kind of, you're playing around with that. You're assessing their capabilities. Mm-hmm. Then when oh, wow, they're really great. And they're probably going to show you some other products that they've done that are similar. And, oh yeah, we did this with this water bottle and we made this face in it and it lights up and it's cool. And it's like, ooh, ding, 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 ding. They can put my lights in there and that's easy for them. Got it. Cool. So then you go, all right, cool. You have them sign your, well, I always do a negotiation session first, talking about whatever stock product they have to make sure that they're willing to grow with me. So I always negotiate container load so that I understand that factory is going to grow with me. They're going to be able to grow with me. They're going to drop prices. They're going to work with me. They want to work with me. They want to build a relationship. When I know they're a good partner in that way, then I'll send them my designs. I'll have my lawyer draw up the contracts. I send them an N&N agreement in China because that covers non-disclosure, non-repudiation, non-circumvention, and it's in Chinese and English, and my Chinese lawyer delivers it to them. So in the US, if you have a US-based attorney deliver you something, do you take it seriously?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. If you have an attorney from China, go and talk to that factory and say, yes, and they've already talked to you because you've sourced your decoy with them, right? You've talked about this very similar stock product, right? And they already know you, they know you're serious. You've had, a long conversation about the different things that they can do. You've vetted their factory. And then your attorney comes to them and goes, here's her contracts. This is, before we send you her unique designs, they're patented, all of that. Like, you need to sign this. They take you real seriously.
Yes.
I also do a general conditions agreement, which covers like, okay, these are the timelines for delivery. This is what happens if my goods don't turn out in the quality that they need to be. I have the right to use a third-party inspector. I'm not going to pay for any products that are not up to our inspection quality. They sign off on all of that. And like my last inspection failed and they were on top of it. They were contacting me every day, like, hey, they're on a timeline. They've got 4 weeks, like, from start to finish to fix these things. And they know, otherwise they have to give me back 30% of my PO. So they're on top of it. I don't have the problems of, 6 months later, I finally hear from them. And, so it's just about taking your business seriously. You can totally protect your supply chain. You can protect your trademarks. You can use, your intellectual property. And if you have the right contracts in the country that you're sourcing from, whether that's India or the US or China, wherever it is makes most economic sense for you, you're not going to have those same problems. That was the other thing that we covered in our class this morning on selling your business is one of the factors in your multiplier is contracts with your suppliers, exclusivity with your suppliers. They want to know that that factory isn't going to go start selling this cool product that you've worked so hard to, that they're not going to go start selling it to a trading company who's going to sell it to every person, on the internet, right? So it's really, really important that you set up a great foundation for your business so that you're rock solid. All you got to do from there is sell your great products. And that's really easy to do if you have something that customers are like, oh, finally, somebody who understands my problems. Right. Or that I love tuxedo cats, So it's a lot easier. And when we think about the brands that we love, that it's a no-brainer, right? When you think about the brands that you consistently buy from, it's those brands that understand you. They're like, oh, they get me. We can be that to our customers as well and have that awesome relationship and have those raving fans. And, in some of my reviews on Amazon. People say things like, man, I told everybody who has cats about this because, you know, it just saves so much time. And, you know, I posted on my Facebook, and we have people posting blogs about us and making videos. And this one lady, she had like a famous cat blog, and like her cat has a blog, right? But she posted a video, and she actually wrote, and I put this in my Walmart pitch deck, but she actually wrote in her video, she was like, the only reason we still have cats is because of this product.
Wow. That's huge.
That's huge, right? So, you know, I totally get it. There's, you know, that's what's kept me going, is I was like, there's no way I'm ever going back to the old way of cleaning the litter box. That's not happening. So anyway, that's my mission. I just want to get out there and help as many people as possible. So yeah, that's how you protect it. You gotta set up your firm foundation. It's, you know, make sure you have a lawyer in the country that you're sourcing from. And then you're protecting your trademark, at a minimum, your trademark, where you're exporting and importing and selling those products.
You have touched on so many important things that honestly I've never even thought of. It's never even crossed my mind. So when someone wants to dive deeper and they want to get in your program and actually have your help, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to amazingathome.com. That's where our program is. Our full course is, it's one of the more expensive courses. I mean, it's over 50 hours of training on everything from concept all the way to launch. Like, we actually cover launch too. Like, we teach you how to build your website, and we teach you how to build sales funnels. I mean, like, everything. So, you know, it's very in-depth. So our full course it's one of the more expensive courses, but what I've done, because my mission is to help as many people as possible, is I have a mastermind program where you can access that content for a low monthly fee. So, and because I really love working directly with the people that are in my program, I think it's so important. Entrepreneurship is really lonely, and support is so, so important. And I want, you know, we just have a really great group of people who are backing each other, who are helping each other. And it's just a really cool, special environment to be in. So, so you guys can always come check that out. If you want to learn from our program, it's very affordable. We made it very affordable to do that. And you can just go to amazingathome.com, and you can click on Mastermind right in our menu. And you can just kind of check it out. And there's tons of stuff on my blog too. I've given a lot of presentations on market research, and, you know, my YouTube channel, Amazing at Home, has a bunch of stuff. And then our Facebook group, Amazing at Home, it was voted the second best Facebook group in the seller poll. And, you know, it's just a really great group of really super helpful people. We kick all the mean people out. They're not allowed in there. If you're mean, you got to leave. So, you know, and it's just supportive. And I try to answer as many questions as I can. I try to give as much value as I can. Because, like I said, I'm on a mission to help people bring cool things to market. And I know how hard it was for me to kind of overcome some of these barriers to entry for developing a new product for somebody that has no experience in manufacturing, or, you know, and so I just want to help other people do the same, because I think that we should all be able to, you know, chase after our ideas and our passions, and be able to build brands that are meaningful, not only to us, but to the people who buy from us.
Right. I can really just hear your passion, and I can tell that you really enjoy helping other people. So that's a wonderful thing. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on. I so appreciate it. And hopefully, you know, we sparked some curiosity in people, and maybe, yeah, exactly. Gave them some ideas of maybe I will go after that idea that I've had for a really long time. That's actually the funny thing that happens in our program, is like, you go through the first 10 classes and people come out of the woodwork with old ideas. They're like, oh man, I had this idea so long ago and I just let it go. And now I know, I can do it. And, then they get after it. It's really cool.
Yeah, there are so many things that I thought, it's kind of like where you're saying where you've had a notebook in the past where you write your ideas and things. And I've had so many ideas in the past, and I just kind of dropped them and thought, oh, well, that would be nice, and just leave it alone. But I see that I need to pursue.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really fulfilling thing to do. So,
yeah. Well, Amy, I want to thank you for your time today and all of your passion that you bring to the entrepreneurial space. And we'll be talking later.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.